My name is Julia, and I'm here to talk about general favorites for the month of June. So, in case you didn't know, dining in LA can be moderately to extremely pricey. So, when I like to dine out, I want to know that I'm getting my money's worth. There was this one weekend where my friend and I we were like skateboarding around the Venice boardwalk, and we stopped by this restaurant where two fish tacos are $16, and I just think to myself like, shoot me. So she recently moved to LA, and she explained that she hasn't had anything that really wowed her yet. I decided to take her to a restaurant in Culver City called Destroyer, based in the Hayden Track. It was so good that for the second time we went, I invited more friends and we ate family style. It was extremely filling, and because we ate family style, each dish complemented one another. It was food that was unique, and whatever you get, there's a form of artistry to it. The presentation, the layering of flavors, the way that it is cooked and presented to you. So instead of going somewhere for your standard fish tacos that is way overpriced, we went somewhere that was worth every penny. A new show that I started watching was Pose on FX. So it's based around the 80s, focusing on the gay and trans community in New York. I feel like my favorite and most entertaining character on the show is Elektra, played by Dominique Jackson. She's the funniest, she has the best lines, and she's super multidimensional. Like, I don't know what the fundamental basic needs are. It's like food, shelter, water, sleep, blah blah blah. But I feel like for a fulfilling life, it's really important to have a sense of belonging, and that's where community lies. Sometimes we can't choose our own family, so it's good to create our own. And it's a theme that is addressed in every episode. A show that I've been watching on Hulu is Rami. So Rami takes huge pride in his Muslim upbringing, and the show kind of focuses on how cultural traditions fit in the modern world. It also touches on societal expectations in the modern world and in the Muslim community, but also the freedom of choice. When I say the freedom of choice, it just shows that, in anything in life, everyone's idea of tradition is interpretational. So, for instance, he is someone who is sober, doesn't drink, but is someone who does have sex outside of marriage. And just because you're not following the standards of tradition, that doesn't mean that his intention isn't good, and that doesn't make him any less Muslim. Why I relate to the show is because I'm first generation, and I think a lot of first generation kids can watch this and really relate to how we live versus how our parents live. And that's why, we don't always agree with our family, but we can always respect them and respect their values. Another thing I like about this first season is that there are some episodes that aren't even about Rami, who is the main character. There's a character that focuses on his sister, that focuses on his mother, that shows that because they are so tied to the expectations of society, it's hard for them to express their freedom of choice, even though they are allowed it. So it's nice to see them navigate, making their own autonomous decisions and kind of struggling through with it and finding a balance between what makes them happy and also what makes others around them satisfied. I didn't really get to see a lot of movies this month, but the one that I was glad to see is Always Be My Maybe. It's funny, it's charming, and what makes it so different is that it is culturally diverse. I think in a lot of movies, there's always that token Asian, but there's no real backstory to them. The character Sasha is Vietnamese, Marcus is Korean, and it kind of like tropes stereotypes in a very subtle yet fun and appropriate way. Not all Asian cultures are the same. The fun thing about it is how they portray food as well. I know that Ali Wong, who helped produce the movie, got a lot of consultation from one of I think the main chef of Nanaka in LA. So it's kind of cool that there is a lot of intention behind, you know, the food selection, that there was a lot of inside jokes that many people in the service industry can relate to. There is that part about Keanu Reeves spoofing himself that like I really enjoy. I think most of it is improvised, and I don't know, I just feel like the movie really tied in together. Last month was super busy and productive. The one thing that I was so stoked on being able to do was help my friend and her boyfriend fix up an RV. It's something that they wanted to do for a while, and I think that because their rent was up, they just decided that now was the time. I got one of my other friends to help us out, and we spent that day taping windows, sanding. Well, they did most of the sanding, but to my credit, I did help out with painting the RV. But it does motivate me to be more scrappy. I don't use power tools often. I don't really know how to build furniture. I barely have experience building IKEA furniture. I have relatives that do construction and flip houses for a living. So I think this month I'm going to try to get more involved. I think being familiar with handiwork gives you a sense of confidence because it makes you more logical and it also makes you self sufficient. It's also like a form of exposure therapy because I always have this fear of, you know, injuring myself or maybe hurting my fingers if I hammer something. But you know, these are things that I have to overcome. I think it's definitely a good goal. It's also realistic too. Besides family members, I hope that I can find friends that, you know, need help once in a while. I think I have a friend who knows someone that builds out furniture, so I'm gonna try and reach out to her. June was a fun and productive month for me, and I look forward for the future months to come.